Hello everybody. I got my August 2025 Sketchbox, so I figured we'd do a little unboxing, check out what they sent, and do some sketches. This is just a little pamphlet they send, the instructions on how to do the artwork they do, the box of acrylic markers, a couple of real brush pigment pens, and a Posca pen, a Prismacolor sketching pencil with an eraser, and a little Bristol pad. So I've used the real pigment brush acrylic pens that they've sent in Sketchbox in the past, and I really like them. They're very cool. They have like an actual brush tip to them. I've not really used the Posca pens. They sent like a gold one. I have gotten them for my nephew before, and he really loves them. So I'm just really excited to try all this stuff out. Now, this first card was just meant to be like, let's test out the colors and see what they look like. Do you guys have like default sketches that you do when you're trying out new art supplies? Like I'll typically I'll draw hearts and circles and mermaids for some reason. I always have. And this one got a little bit away with me. So as I was testing them out, I noticed that these, the blue and the green especially, are fairly transparent. You have to layer them up quite a bit. The purple one and the reddish one are pretty opaque, and the orange one is pretty transparent as well. The brown one is pretty opaque. Now, I went in with the Real Brush pigment pens to kind of add a little detail. The yellow one that I was using just then was also a little bit transparent, but this is a dark purple and it's super opaque. Again, I was just supposed to be kind of trying to test out the pigment and the way they worked, and I ended up with a mermaid. The Prismacolor pencil, the sketching pencil, everything covered it really nicely. I don't see any lines through anything. Even with how transparent like the blue and green first went on, it immediately covered the Prismacolor pencil. In fact, I think you can see part of it in her hair, but there's part of like a circle or a heart back there, and you can't even tell they're there. It covered right over it. I did try out the gold Posca pen. It took a bit of screwing around to get the gold to come out all the way, but then it was really lovely. And I just kind of went back and accented some of the scales with the gold. I did go grab a white Jelly Roll pen, which I also got from a previous Sketchbox, to add just a few highlights. There wasn't like a white or anything in this. So yeah, I just grabbed a white Jelly Roll and added some highlights. Now I wanted to go and do an actual sketch and drawing that I had planned, not just another mermaid. And so I really put these to the test here. Now again with the blue, it is really transparent, and it also it started to, I don't know, it started to like dry out, but then it's like I was able to put the lid on and shake it, and after a few minutes it kind of came back. I do not attribute this to the markers failing in any way. They were really lovely. I've never used acrylic markers. I've never colored with any kind of marker. I'm mostly a painter. So I just attributed that to me not really knowing how to use the medium yet. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I never had any issues with the flow from the purple either. It was mostly just the blue one, but I did use the blue more than any other. So maybe it's just I need to put a cap on it every so often. So I was able to go in and start filling things in. And whenever I gave it a break and put the cap back on it and then brought it back, it always worked. It worked wonderfully whenever I was able to bring it back to life. I wanted to stick with something that I was a little bit more comfortable with, which I've been doing a lot of portraits and faces, so that's why I did this. I've seen people like smudging the acrylic markers with their fingers while they're still wet to get like a smoother texture. I did try that a little bit. I don't know that did a ton for me. You'll see closer to the end. I haven't quite gotten there yet. But yeah, and I came back in with these real brush markers to start outlining things and darkening the lines. I think the limited range of colors, it's a nice color set. It's a very rainbowy color set. It's a little bit of everything. I think the range of colors and the way I paint isn't typical, so this is all just me trying to figure out how to go about showing my normal amount of detail, but with paint markers. I do love the colors. I love that it's a very like rainbowy array of colors. I think it made it a lot of fun. It gave me a lot of options for how I wanted to go through and do things. This orangey red color, probably my favorite. I love how vibrant it is. It's really beautiful. It went on super smoothly. I had no issues with it. Um, it was pretty opaque. It did, as you can see, it's a little bit transparent where the hair is, but I think it works with everything. And then I added just a little bit of detail with this orange brush. If any of you guys have any tips or ideas on like how you use or blend acrylic markers, I know that there's some concern. I did look up some information, and Sketchbox does provide like tutorials and information on the tools. But I do know that there's some concern with like mixing or leaving color on the pens. I didn't have any issue with that. Maybe it's because I was kind of going over and like similar analogous colors. I did the blue and the purple, and I didn't go over white after that, so I had no issues with like mixing. That didn't seem to be an issue at all. Once the color was dry, there was no issue at all. And I know part of that is that I didn't go wet on wet to like blend it together. I know that's something that I probably could have done. I'd have had to do it quickly. These markers actually dried really, really fast, and I don't know. It was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but it was very fun. I like to spend more time and try maybe planning out a sketch better. Maybe it's something that I have to plan a little bit better. I've mentioned this before, but I'm kind of like a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. So I just run with it. But I think if I work with them a little bit more, I'll be able to get the hang of it. I just thought they were so much fun. I think it's so rare, especially if you're a professional artist, to just sit and play around. Maybe it's not rare. Maybe it's just something that I hadn't spent enough time doing myself until recently. But this was just fun to play with. I did grab two more real brush acrylic paint pens that again I've gotten in previous sketch boxes just to add a little bit more range and like lighter color that I wanted. I figured it kind of went in with the box because they were acrylic paint markers. So that yellowy and the pink color that you're seeing are actually different real brush paint pens that I used from another box. And again, with the jelly roll just for some highlights. Overall, I really thought they were cool. I thought they were great. Some of the colors were more transparent than I was expecting, but again, I think that's a me thing. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever used acrylic markers, if you have any tips for me. If you like trying new art supplies, if you're interested, check out Sketchbox. I've been getting Sketchbox for over a year now, and I've gotten it previously before, and it's always so much fun. Like if you like, subscribe if you like watching my videos, and I hope to see you at the next one. Bye, guys.